Good morning. My name is Michael Zuber, author of One Rental at a Time. And something you may not know if you're new to the channel is at one point in my investing career, I did sell everything and go to cash. I don't know what's showing up in your YouTube feed recently, but in my YouTube feed, I'm seeing a lot of folks create thumbnails about sell everything, going to cash. These are investing channels that are talking about the theory of doing it. As someone who has been through a couple of bear markets, the Great Recession, I want to talk about the time that I did sell everything and go to cash. So let me set the scenario up. We're going to cover three questions as we get through this. Was it a mistake? How did it work out? And would I do it again? But let me set the stage for you folks. It's very similar, and some of you may be feeling it today. You see, there was a time in the investing environment where the market went up. Even bad investors who did not do the work, who maybe believed in meme stocks or the next great .com, everyone was winning. It was perhaps the easiest, or now maybe second easiest time to trade stocks because everything went up. What happened is you take a little bit of money, in my case, $7,000. And through some hard work, you turn that 7 into, I don't know, let's call it 25, 30 grand. Then you get cocky and you get increasingly lazy. You go from reading hours and hours of financial reports to going online and listening to people talk about stock. People that you don't know. And you just follow the herd. And again, the herd wins. This, call it $30,000, balloons into almost $200,000. You are feeling really, really, really cocky. You start trading options, which again, you have no real experience. And very quickly, the market goes from never easier to never harder. We end up going through a bear market, which again, you don't know. You've never experienced this before. Your account goes down and down. You start to get more conservative and it goes down and down. You finally give up. You just feel like you have to be fully invested, and then you invest in a company like a phone company, right? You're safe in a phone company, but lo and behold, it too is a fraud. And pretty soon that $200,000 is $40,000. You are busting your ass during the day. You are now staring at a screen, $40,000 after the latest fraud, and you sell everything. For me, this occurred in 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. I sold everything and went to cash. I didn't feel like I had a choice. I didn't realize that I was investing in a market that I couldn't lose, and then I couldn't win. It was a humbling experience. It was a scary experience. I lost lots and lots of sleep. So let's talk about the three questions. Was it a mistake to go to cash? Frankly, for me, no, it wasn't a mistake. I had put together a portfolio at that point, the remaining portfolio, that I had done no research. I had not done the work. I had given up the ability or the interest in truly studying stocks. I wasn't doing what Warren Buffett says, right? Reading and research, honing your craft. So for me, in 2001, it was not a mistake. I had to absorb the losses. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I wasn't sleeping at night. And if I didn't sell, I was going to go crazy. Again, this is not financial advice. This is a story of what happened to me. I had to get out. I had to reset. I had to feel like I had something left. So for me, it certainly wasn't a mistake. Was it a mistake to stay out of the market for 15 years? I don't know. You could argue that. I certainly had a 401k that was in, but I did not trade a stock for a long, long time. Because again, I wasn't going to trade stocks until I did the work again. I just didn't have time. I found another path. So for me, going to cash was not a mistake. I certainly missed out on a decade of growth. I missed out on lots of amazing things. I don't think about it. I did something else. And if you read my book, One Rental at a Time, you'll figure out what that is. How did it work out? Well, arguably it worked out okay. That $40,000 became my first 3 rental properties. I think it was Norris, Terrace, Ferris, or maybe it was Norris, Ferris, Terrace. I forget the order. Those 3 houses became cash out refis that became more, ultimately became 1031 exchanges that became more, ultimately grew much further. That $40,000 wisely invested in great deals, right? Buy box, do the work, daily discipline, all the things that I teach and talk about worked. But you did the work. I wasn't listening to some guy on YouTube or Bigger Pockets talk about this or that market. I did the work. And like a lot of you, I chose a market that I never lived in. I chose a market that was far, far away. So for me, it worked out. I will say that not going back to the stock market, in hindsight, may certainly have been an issue. I carry baggage from that I couldn't get rid of. I should have dropped it a lot earlier. I didn't. I own that. But yes, I think it worked out. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Absolutely. I can go back to that moment in time and remember when I think I was in Europe and I sold everything and went to cash after finding out that a phone company was a fraud. I would do it again. I felt like the world was crashing. I had to get out. I had to take that 40K, which was a lot of money to me, and know that it was okay, that nobody could take it. It was a year since that moment before we bought our first rental because I did the work. I found a great deal. I knew what average is. These are all important things. So yes, it did work out for me. But the lessons of going to cash is you got to own where you are. You got to own where you are. This HODL strategy, all this, you don't recognize a loss until you sell. All of those are true. But are you holding companies that you want to hold? Or are you holding companies that somebody told you and it went against you? There are companies that traded at the high in the early 2000s that are not back at the high 20 years later. Again, none of this is financial advice. This is my story, the story that I own and I wrote about in One Rental at a Time. You have to learn the lessons. The lesson is do the work. If you have done the work and bought great companies and they're down and you want to keep them, awesome. That wasn't me. At this point in my investing career, I let outside forces, people I didn't know, talk me into buying something because I believed their story. I own that. That was clearly my mistake. And I suffered an 80% loss or 150 grand. I still think about that. Then if you go to cash, what are you going to do? Going to cash and staying in cash is a mistake. Staying in cash with an interest rate below 1% is a mistake. I'm not saying staying in cash forever is a mistake. Again, remember, I went to cash. I found Rich Dad Poor Dad. I started researching real estate. It took me a year to find Norris Drive. It's okay. Then we moved forward and we bought assets. Cash left in a bank for 40 years will be inflated to zero. Cash in the bank as you research and learn, totally okay. It's an option on future opportunities. So I just wanted to share my experience with selling everything. For me, it worked out. It was the right thing to do. I would do it again. I will own the fact that maybe I should have got into stocks earlier, but I didn't, and I'm okay with that. So I just want to let you know that selling everything and going to cash did work out for me. Again, not financial advice, but I thought I would give you the story given all the thumbnails and whatnot talking about going to cash. Have a wonderful day. Check out my book, One Rental at a Time, on Amazon. It's almost got 1,000 5-star reviews. If you've read it and yet to leave a review, do me a favor, write a review. Also, let's get the YouTube algorithm working for us. So say hi, leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe. Let's see if we can get this video going, because selling everything and going to cash was a good decision for me, but maybe not a good decision for you. Take care. Bye.